After learning I transmigrated as the scumbag woman's dad, the first thing I did was immediately slapping my daughter's male bestie and backhanding my son-in-law a 100 million check, just because this is a cliché urban power fantasy. The male lead in the book is my current son-in-law Xiaoqi, a chosen one who gets brutally abused in the early stages, and the one responsible for abusing him is my precious daughter, who combines being gold-digging and ignorant, Lin Mengyao. In the book, she was played like a fiddle by a top-tier green tea boy named Gu Yifan. Not only did she madly suppress her husband's Zhao Qi for him, she also colluded with outsiders and almost bankrupted my company. The most fucked up part is, the original owner was a confused old man because his wife passed away early. He spoiled his daughter to the extreme. So much so that to that pretty boy Gu Yifan, he obeyed his every word. He even personally stepped in to help them suppress Zhaoqi together. It could be said that of all the grievances Zhaoqi suffered early on, at least half were thanks to this father-in-law of his. When I first transmigrated, I was in a frantic mess. Such a huge business empire dropped onto my head. I literally couldn't close my eyes for days and nights, for no other reason than, I was just an ordinary executive in a large company, a chosen 996 corporate slave. I truly hadn't managed a conglomerate as big as the original owners. For a while, I frantically caught up on lessons. Fortunately, a lot of the original owners' memories were retained, preventing me from ruining the Lin Group. And during this gap, I let the male lead suffer for a few more months. But right now, the plot is just beginning. To be honest about saving this stupid daughter, I have zero interest. I just want to quickly find a successor for the group. Then dump this business empire on him, so I can retire early. At this moment, through the restaurant's huge floor-to-ceiling glass, I spotted Lin Mengyao at a glance. That face full of unruliness, and sitting across from her, was her husband, Zhaoqi. According to Uncle Yuan's description and these months of observation, this is indeed a kid with a clean background and a resilient character. It's a pity my daughter is blind. And the original owner was also blind. The next second, a glass of lemon water was splashed on Xiaoqi's face by her without hesitation. Water droplets slid down his smooth jawline. He just lowered his eyes, clenched his fists, and said nothing. A greasy-haired pretty boy leaned over, considerately handing over a tissue, while hypocritically persuading Mengyao, "Don't be angry, let's talk it out nicely. Gu Yifan, I really don't understand. A perfectly good man. Why does he love being a green tea so much?" Looking at my daughter, that stupid look of being completely cooked, I just felt a headache. I didn't bring any assistant, and pushed the door open to enter alone. In the high-end restaurant, it was so quiet you could hear the clinking of knives and forks. Lin Mengyao saw me, as if she found her backbone, and immediately complained, "Dad, you came just in time. I want to divorce this trash. Quickly help me teach him a lesson." She looked proud, certain that I would, just like before, stand unconditionally on her side. Even the corners of Zhu Yufan's mouth curled into a winning smile. I ignored him. I first gave a slight nod to Xiaoqi as an apology. Xiaoqi's body visibly stiffened, his eyes full of guardedness and confusion. The next second, I raised my hand and gave a huge backhand slap, slapping solidly onto Zhu Yufan's face. Smack! The crisp sound of the slap made the air in the whole restaurant freeze. Lin Mengyao stood frozen in place, with an expression like she saw a ghost. Gu Yifan covered his face. The shock in his eyes had not yet dissipated. The person was already slapped silly. I slowly and methodically adjusted my cuffs. Without even giving him a glance, Lin Mengyao reacted and looked at me in disbelief. "Dad, you hit Yifan. Are you crazy?" I glanced at her, my tone flat. Yeah, looking at him is an eyesore. My hand got itchy. After speaking, I ignored them anymore. Took out a checkbook and pen from my pocket, quickly wrote down a string of zeros, tore it off, and pushed it in front of Xiaoqi. The light in Xiaoqi's eyes, the moment he saw that check, darkened completely. I saw his clenched fists loosen, and the corners of his mouth curled into a self-deprecating arc. Right, in his eyes, this was just another form of humiliation. He pushed that flimsy check back in front of me. His voice wasn't loud, but every word was clear. "Chairman Lin, although I, Xiaoqi, am poor, I haven't reached the point of selling my dignity." The anger on Lin Menyao's face instantly turned into realization mixed with disdain. She leaned close to Gu Yufan's ear and muttered in a not-so-soft voice, "What is my dad going crazy about? It's just chasing him away. Why even give him money? What a waste." I couldn't be bothered with her stupid words. Just knocked on the table with my knuckles. "This is 100 million. It's mental compensation. And also pocket money. Spend it however you want. Tell me when you run out. Lin Mengao's eyes almost popped out. What? 100 million? Dad, on what grounds are you giving him the money? That's our family's money. Look at her blustering appearance. Not like a noble lady at all. Very noisy. You actually reminded me. I took out my phone, dialed my assistant's number in front of everyone, and turned on the speakerphone. The call connected instantly. Old Wong. From now on, stop all the cards under the young lady's name. Yes, all of them. Don't leave her a single cent. From the other end of the phone came Old Wong. Crisp, yes. Chairman Lin. Lin Menyao's pretty face was full of question marks. Dad? You? You stopped my cards. Yeah, that's the money I earned. Why should I give it to you? I ignored her utterly bewildered look. Pulled out the chair opposite Zhao Qi. Sat down. Picked up the menu on the table. Waiter, order. Lin Menyao naturally had no mood to eat. She belatedly reacted and made a big scene in the restaurant. Seeing I wasn't giving her any face, she angrily pulled Zhu Yufan and left. Before leaving, she also threw a lot of harsh words at Zhao Qi and even threatened me that she would run away from home. What a joke. I, a boss with tens of billions in assets, am so scared. I ate this expensive dinner all by myself. Opposite me, Zhao Qi didn't take a single bite. That 100 million check just lay quietly by his hand. I wiped my mouth and got up to leave. Zhao Qi also stood up, following behind me. Upon arriving at the parking lot, he finally couldn't hold back, stepping forward to stop me. Chairman Lin, I cannot take this money. I glanced at that check and didn't talk nonsense with him, just pointing at the back seat of my Rolls Royce. Get in. What? Some things are spoken here. Inconveniently, get in the car. We'll talk at home. I pulled the car door open, looking at him indisputably. Returning to that villa I had lived in for a few months and still hadn't fully explored, I had the butler take Zhao Qi to the study, while I went to take a shower first. When I changed into comfortable loungewear and walked into the study, Zhao Qi was standing in front of that huge floor-to-ceiling window, looking at the garden outside, his back looking somewhat lonely. Hearing the sound, he turned around. Chairman Lin, he still had that neither humble nor arrogant look. I walked to the wine cabinet, poured 2 glasses of whiskey, and handed him one. He didn't take it. I don't drink. Then learn to drink. You'll have plenty of socializing in the future. You can't expect me to keep taking the drinks for you. I shoved the wine glass into his hand. He looked even more stunned, clearly not understanding the meaning of my words. I wasn't in a hurry to explain. Just walked over to the sofa and sat down. That idiot Lin Menyao is clamoring to divorce you. What do you think? She just hasn't grown up yet. I almost burst out laughing. Almost 30 years old, and hasn't grown up yet. This is a giant baby turned spirit. I remember last year, to secure a project, you drank so much while socializing that your stomach bled and you went to the hospital. Where was Lin Mingyao? She was celebrating Zhu Yufan's birthday. The business proposal you stayed up all night doing appeared on Gu Yu Yifan's computer the next day, becoming his capital to claim credit from Lin Mengyao. Even on your 3rd wedding anniversary, she left you hanging alone at home to accompany the heartbroken Gu Yu Yifan to a music festival. With every sentence I said, Zhao Qi's face looked a bit uglier. I looked at him, tone flat. As a man, you can really endure. Zhao Qi lowered his eyes, pursing his lips without a word. Seeing his demeanor, I couldn't help shaking my head, deliberately teasing him. Or are you, like they say? After my Lin family's money, Zhao Qi's face finally showed a vivid expression. Am not playing with you? I am very clear about your character, and I'm also very clear about what kind of thing my daughter is. I waved my hand, stood up, walked to his side, and patted his shoulder. To be honest, you've been wronged these years. But do you think she will really change her mind and love you? Don't be silly. A dog can't stop eating shit. She's not like this. Please don't say that about her. She's not. Not like what? Not like the one using your hard-earned money. 2, buy limited edition watches for another man. Or not like the one who found you unlucky when you were sick and ran off to date a wild man. I interrupted him speechlessly. He was rendered speechless by my rebuttal. From the safe under the wine cabinet, I took out a pre-prepared divorce agreement and pushed it over. Take a look. Zhao Qi picked up the agreement and flipped through it page by page. The more he read, the tighter his brows furrowed. Finally, pursing his lips, he silently put the agreement back on the table. The look in his eyes returned to that guardedness and alienation from before, right? In his eyes, I was just like that confused old man from before, teaming up with my daughter to force him to divorce. Just then, the study door was fiercely pushed open, and Lin Menyao returned. Dad, why are all my cards stopped? I was paying at the boutique today and was almost laughed to death. I rolled my eyes internally. Behind her followed that lingering Jiu Yafan. Seeing Xiaoqi was also there, Lin Mengyao immediately pointed her spear at him. Oh, you, Xiaoqi. Is it? It must be you bad-mouthing me in front of my dad. Right? She stepped forward, pointing at his nose and scolding. Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself? What a state you're in. What you wear and carry on your body? Which one isn't from our Lin family? Everything Yifan has now was earned by his own hard work. Which part of you compares to him? You good-for-nothing who only leeches off women. Xiaoqi's face instantly became even uglier. His jawline taut. Jiu Yifan, who followed right behind, spotted the divorce agreement on the table at a glance and immediately added fuel to the fire, hypocritically sighing. Menyao, don't say that. Brother Xiaoqi might just be reluctant to part with the Lin family's wealth and glory. Look, I said, his unwillingness to divorce was all pretend. Uncle Lin must have given him some benefit for him to finally be willing to let go. After all, once divorced, hell be nothing. I watched with great interest, my gaze involuntarily shifting to Xiaoqi. Actually, Lin Mengyao wasn't wrong. The early stage Xiaoqi, in the reader's eyes, could indeed be considered a wimp. His wife was being ambiguous with another man. The paramour even aggressively rubbed it in his face. Yet he still had that submissive look, which was infuriating to watch. The consistently silent Xiaoqi, after hearing this sentence, finally raised his head. You're right. He slowly spoke. His voice wasn't loud, but enough for everyone to hear. Once divorced, am indeed nothing. He paused, his gaze sizing up to Yu Yifan, a sarcastic smile curling his lips. But at least am still a normal human? I wouldn't go hitting on a married woman. The fake smile on Ju Yifan's face instantly froze. Lin Mengyao immediately exploded, jumping out to stand in front of Guyu Yefan. Xiaoqi? What nonsense are you talking about? Yifan just saw I was pitiful. Marrying a trash and comforted me, that's all. Why is your mind so filthy? The moment Lin Mengyao spoke, Xiaoqi once again chose to mute himself. Standing there like a wooden stump, making no sound, I sighed. This male lead's combat power is really lacking. When they had pretty much finished their performance, I slowly opened my mouth. Finished. I pointed at Jiu Yifan, a pretty boy who seduces another man's wife, daily inciting a married couple to divorce. What kind of intentions do you have? Do you really think everyone doesn't know? Then pointing at my daughter, a stupid fool who cheated in her marriage, putting a green hat on her own husband, and bringing a wild man home to show off. The Lin family's face has been completely lost by you, filthy mind. You too are living together in the apartment under my name right now, sleeping in the same bed every day, right? Think I don't know? Shameless adult. Lin Mengyao was scolded silly by me. Growing up this big, no one had ever said such nasty things to her. Dad, how could you say that about me? And Xiaoqi, after hearing what I said, looked at Lin Mengyao in shock. He grabbed Lin Mengyao's hand, as if grabbing onto the last straw, because he was overly excited. His voice sounded somewhat trembling. You moved in together. So what if we moved in together? You're like a block of wood in bed anyway. Utterly boring. Can't I go find some joy outside? But you said you were just friends. Xiaoqi's face began to turn pale. You believe whatever she says? Then if I say I will eat shit, you'll believe it too. After saying that, I felt something wasn't quite right and silently retracted the sentence I just said. Xiaoqi took a deep breath. He silently walked to the table, picked up that divorce agreement. All right, let's divorce. I agree. Lin Mengyao took the divorce agreement, only took one look. 1 second ago, his face was full of indignation. The next second, it turned into uncontrollable ecstasy. The terms on the agreement were extremely favorable to her, almost making Xiaoqi leave with nothing, without anyone urging. She took a pen from her bag and quickly signed her name. In front of everyone, she excitedly started planning the future. Yifan, this guest room Hei's living in right now. I'll have the servants throw everything inside away tomorrow. You move in. And his car. The keys are in the entryway. Take them and drive it. Mengyao, this isn't good, is it? But his eyes gleamed with greedy light. You guys really can't wait. I spoke up timely, interrupting Lin Menyao's planning. Mengyao, have you thought this through? If this divorce goes through, the two of you tonight will both have to move out of here. And fend for yourselves from now on. This pretty boy shouldn't even think about living in my house. The smile on Lin Mengyao's face instantly froze. Her deflated look was exceptionally wonderful, but she quickly resumed that arrogant posture, talking tough, saying, well, leave then. Anyway, with Yifan around, he will give me better. Xiaoqi took one last deep look at her, then put pen to paper and signed. After signing, Lin Mengyao acted like she was throwing away some dirty trash. Not wanting to stay a second longer, she haughtily hooked arms with Ju Yifan and left without looking back. Zhao Qi stood frozen on the spot, thoroughly turning into a silent sculpture. I didn't rush him, just minded my own business and pushed that 100 million check and a document bag in front of him. Take it. He raised his eyes. Without a trace of light in his gaze, Dad, Chairman Lin, the agreement states, I leave with nothing. He paused, his voice carrying a hint of self-mockery. I am no longer the Lin family's son. You don't need to give me money anymore. I know you are just like Lin Mengyao, always looking down on me. Feeling I am too much of a failure as a person, right? He smiled bitterly, his eyes full of irresolvable sorrow. Seeing him looking half dead like that, I felt a bit angry. What? You got a divorce and the sky fell? Spineless, I indeed look down on you. A man who spends every day figuring out how to please a woman. That's what a piece of trash does. Money and power are a man's best youth. Wait until you stand at the peak. What kind of woman wouldn't you have? At that time, it will be her. Lin Mengyao crying and shouting, begging you to look back at her. After I spoke, Zhao Qi's expression became a bit weird. He looked at me. In his eyes, besides shock, there was also a hint of speechlessness. Probably never seen any father, hoping for his own daughter, to regret too late. Moreover, everything you've done for the Lin Group these past years, I've seen it all. You've been in the company for 3 years, starting from the bottom, led the technical breakthroughs of 3 major projects, and created profits of over 9 digits for the group. It's just that the credit was all stolen by certain people. I saw his pupils suddenly shrink. Looking at me in disbelief, I, Lin Tiancheng, never mix business with emotions. I give you 100 million. Not out of sympathy. It's because I have high hopes for you as a person, and for your abilities. This is an investment. I stood up, walked to the wine cabinet, and poured another glass of wine. Of course, it can also be considered me on behalf of my useless daughter, giving you a final dignity. I handed the wine glass to him. Drink it, starting from today. Forget Lin Mengyao, and forget the identity of the Lin families. You are just Zhao Qi. A potential stock I invested in. Zhao Qi's eyes slowly turned red. He reached out a slightly trembling hand, took that glass of wine, and downed it in one gulp. The spicy liquid slid down his throat, making him cough a few times, and as if swallowing down all the grievances and unwillingness of these 3 years, all at once. The next day, Zhao Qi moved out, cleanly and neatly, not taking a single thread from the Lin family. Lin Mengyao and Gu Yufan also did as they said, and rolled out of my place. Of course, Lin Mengyao, with no money and no cards, could only follow Jiu Yifan and squeeze into that small rented apartment of his. I was happy for the peace. Every day I watched financial news, went fishing, and waited for my retirement plan to slowly ferment. About a month passed, when Assistant Old Wang casually mentioned while reporting on work, Chairman Lin Gu Yifan has been quite active lately. He registered a tech company. Seems to be doing artificial intelligence too. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, where did he get the money? I heard it's the young lady who sold all the luxury goods under her name. Scraped together about 20 to 30 million and invested it all. I nodded, indicating I understood. It doesn't matter. Heaven will deal with stupid people. A few days later, at an industry summit, I bumped into Jiu Yifan. He was in a suit and leather shoes, looking presentable but despicable, surrounded by a few investors, bragging about his future AI project, spit flying. Seeing me, his eyes lit up, and he immediately walked over holding a wine glass. Uncle Lin, long time no see. He acted so harmless. Assaulted by his green tea vibes, I didn't want to speak. He wasn't awkward either, and continued. I heard you recently invested in a small company called Kiming Tech, also doing AI. What a coincidence. Our Yifan Tech recently just got angel round funding, valued at 100 million. I wonder how Kiming Tech is doing now. The showing off in his words couldn't be hidden at all. I couldn't be bothered with him. Just then, the summit host walked onto the stage, voice excited. Distinguished guests, next, let us use our warmest applause to welcome the special guest of the summit, Mr. Zhao Qi, founder of Kiming Tech. He will share with us how he managed in just 2 short months to secure Tenxing Group's 5-year Tensoft Billions exclusive cooperation agreement. Under the spotlight, Zhao Qi wore a fitting custom suit and calmly walked onto the stage. He was a bit thinner than a month ago, but the exhaustion and confusion in his eyes were swept clean, replaced by a sharp, everything Gunderkrant confidence. The whole venue erupted in thunderous applause. Holding my wine glass, I looked with great interest at Jiu Yifan beside me. The wine glass in his hand dropped to the ground. with a smack, shattering into pieces. Zhao Qi's speech was very successful. No flowery rhetoric, only clear logic and precise predictions for the industry's future. Even me, a reader with a god's eye view, couldn't help but want to applaud him. After the speech ended, he became the focus of the whole venue. Countless people stepped forward with wine glasses wanting to get close to him. Among them were many of those investors who were circling Jiu Yifan earlier. Jiu Yifan stood alone in the corner, his face livid, like someone had their pants pulled down in public. I looked at his appearance of a stray dog and happily took a sip of wine. Shaoqi saw me in the crowd. He politely nodded to those people, then walked straight towards me. Chairman Lin, he stood in front of me, his eyes clear. Well done. I patted his shoulder. Before he could speak, an untimely figure squeezed over and suddenly hooked his arm, intimately posturing. It was Lin Mengyao. She popped out from nowhere, with delicate makeup on her face, and opening her mouth, her voice was sickeningly sweet. Hubby, you are so amazing. This one, hubby, made the surroundings instantly quiet down. Everyone's gazes carried the flames of gossip, sweeping back and forth among the three of us. I didn't mishear, right? Wasn't the Lin family daughter clamoring to divorce Zhao Qi back then, calling him trash? Now seeing he is powerful, she's sticking to him again. Where was this eye for talent before? Rejecting such a bright pearl, only to pick up a rock, truly blind. Zhao Qi's brows instantly locked tight, quietly pulling his arm out. His tone alienated and icy cold. Miss Lin, please have some. The smile on Lin Mengyao's face stiffened for a bit, but she instantly recovered as usual. As if she didn't understand his words, she turned to me, starting to act spoiled, her tone carrying a hint of complaint. Dad, you? Look at him. We just had a little conflict. Why don't you help your daughter persuade him a bit? I glanced at her, snorted coldly. Having a conflict ends up in another man's bed? Just as I finished speaking, Jiu Yifan squeezed over carrying 2 glasses of wine, looking like a peacemaker. He handed a glass of wine to Shaoqi, smiling and saying, Brother Shaoqi, congratulations. Speaking of which, your Kimming tech, still borrowed from our Yifan tech's ideas, right? That you could succeed. We as brothers are also happy for you. Good heavens, one acting spoiled and dumb, one fabricating dirt and slandering. The coordination is rather flawless. Just as I was about to explode, Shaoqi stopped me. He looked at Gu Yufan, slowly saying, Oh, thank you. That is a coincidence. I just heard from Tianqing Group's President Li. Last week, a company called Yifan Tech also approached him. Wanting to discuss cooperation, he paused, and amidst Jiu Yifan's increasingly stiff expression, lightly added, President Li said, that proposal was done like a primary schooler's summer homework. Absolute bullshit. He even asked me which blind company this was. Who dared to come copy our Kimming, President Zhu? Zhaoqi raised his wine glass, gave him a distant toast, the corner of his mouth curling into a cold arc. Would you say it's a coincidence? Jiu Yifan's face instantly flushed red. Even Lin Mengyao to the side showed a hint of panic, and I felt deeply gratified. Male lead. You've finally manned up. Seeing that trying to get close wasn't working, Lin Mengyao immediately changed her tune and looked at me, her tone sour. Dad, you really are biased. You invested 100 million in him, and now you're helping him build connections. Even me, your own daughter, don't get this treatment. Gu Yufan also quickly changed the topic, chiming in, yeah, Uncle Lin, Mengyao is after all your biological daughter. You doing this is really chilling her heart. I looked at this adulterous couple putting on a double act in front of me, my internal eye roll practically going up to heaven. Haha. Isn't it just because you're out of money? A young lady used to extravagance and waste, without my cards, even had to hollow out her own secret stash to feed a pretty boy. Now seeing Shaoqi achieving fame and success, feeling unbalanced inside, huh? I couldn't be bothered talking nonsense with them. My tone completely impolite. I've said it long ago. Once divorced, you two fend for yourselves. I pointed at Shaoqi. Zhaoqi having what he has today relies on his own abilities. And you, I looked her up and down once, then glanced at Jiu Yufan beside her, a mocking sneer pulling at the corner of my mouth. Relying on a man, and relying on a man you absolutely cannot depend on. Jiu Yifan's face became extremely ugly. Lin Mengyao was rendered speechless by my rebuttal. Her pretty face alternating green and white, she recalled Shaoqi being treated like a star just now, then looked at the livid-faced Jiu Yifan beside her, finally could only talk tough. Yifan is just facing a temporary setback. He is much more talented than Zhao Qi. After speaking, she pulled Zhu Yuvian and squeezed out of the crowd without looking back. That receding figure, no matter how you look at it, carried a bit of fleeing wretchedness. After that summit, Kimming Tech skyrocketed, while Yifan Tech, due to being exposed for plagiarizing Kimming Tech, plus having zero technical highlights, quickly became a joke in the industry. Its capital chain was also in imminent danger. Zhu Yifan didn't give up and started playing some underhanded tricks. He first tried to poach Kimming Tech's core technical staff. After I found out, I directly transferred 500 million to Xiaoqi's account. What is this for? On the phone, Xiaoqi's tone was somewhat confused. To give bonuses to your employees, I said concisely. The next day, Kimming Tech announced a Tensile Billions talent incentive plan. Core employees' salaries tripled, provided cars, houses, equity, and options until their hands went soft. Once the news came out, Zhu Yifan didn't poach the people he wanted, and in his own company, the only technician with some actual talent and learning carried his computer overnight to defect to Xiaoqi. Zhu Yifan was so mad he almost spat blood. And Lin Mengyao, following Zhu Yifan, naturally found life getting harder and harder. In the past, going in and out meant luxury cars picking her up and dropping her off. Now she could only squeeze onto the subway. In the past, buying bags meant the latest models. Now she could only look at the display windows with greedy eyes. She started calling me frequently, crying poverty in every word, wanting me to unfreeze her cards. My reply was uniformly, sure, as long as you kick that pretty boy away, and kneel down to apologize to Xiaoqi. Whenever Xiaoqi forgives you, is when your cards get unfrozen. Every time what I got in return was her scolding me for being an inhuman dad, for wanting to break up their true love. True love, the book wrote it clearly. Zhu Yifan, this pretty boy, from beginning to end, was only after the Lin family's money. Once he realizes he can't squeeze any more juice out of Lin Mengyao, the next step will be kidnapping and extortion. This silly girl, how could she not see it at all? Finally, on a night with heavy rain, she and Zhu Yifan together appeared at the door of my villa. The two were both drenched like drowned rats, looking very wretched indeed. As soon as Lin Mengyao saw me, her eyes turned red. Yifan's company can't hold on much longer. Please help him. Zhu Yifan was also acting pitiful on the side. Uncle Lin, it doesn't matter what happens to me, but Mengyao shouldn't suffer. As long as you give me another sum of money, I promise I can build the company up to surpass Xiaoqi. I looked at them, like looking at two clowns. Surpass Xiaoqi. I laughed. Do you know? Kimming Tech just completed its Series A funding. How much is its valuation? Both of them froze. I held up 5 fingers. Wu billion. Lin Mengyao and Zhu Yifan's faces instantly lost all color. The number 5 billion was like a giant mountain. Pressing down so hard they couldn't breathe, Lin Mengyao looked at me. In her eyes, showing panic and regret for the very first time, one plan failed. Zhu Yifan hatched another. He actually incited Lin Mengyao to go home, to steal my trade secrets, wanting to use them to short Xiaoqi's company in the capital market. I watched through the security camera as my stupid daughter, like a thief, ransacked my study. Finally, holding a core secret file I deliberately left there, left feeling immensely proud of herself. I just felt my headache worsen. I directly sent the surveillance footage to Xiaoqi. Beat them at their own game. Understand? Understood. Chairman Lin. Thus, on an ordinary Monday, Zhu Yifan allied with several blind external capital firms. Holding his so-called insider information, he aggressively started to short Kimming Tech. As a result, in less than an hour, under the joint operation of Xiaoqi and me, all shorting capitals were liquidated. Losing until not even their underwear was left, Zhu Yifan, even more so, took all the money he scammed. Plus the little money Lin Mengyao scraped together by selling bags and jewelry, and lost it absolutely clean, and also owed a huge buttload of debt. The news of Zhu Yifan's bankruptcy, I actually saw it on the financial news. The title was very savage. The Fall of a Genius, No. From clown to bankrupt, he only took 1 month. I clicked it open with great interest and read it. It was written quite wonderfully. It detailed how Zhu Yifan framed Xiaoqi, how he was slapped in the face in public, and finally, how he courted death, playing with capital. Writing out the process of playing himself into a trap very clearly, the comments section below was even more heavyweight. LMAO. This bro understands business. Just how to lose money. Upstairs, stop the awkward hating. He, at least made the Lin family daughter sell all her Hermes for him. Pua skills are top-notch. Okay, Lin Tianchang's move is too ruthless, isn't it? She's his biological daughter after all. Really leaving no way out for her at all? Feeling sorry for Lin Mengyao for 1 second? Rejecting a golden turtle? Insisting on following a god of plague? Now look what happened. Bags gone, money gone too. What do you upstairs know? This is called knocking sense into a love brain like Lin Mengyao. If she isn't made to suffer a bit, how can she take over in the future? Take over the Lin group. Forget it. With her IQ. If the Lin group was handed to her, in less than 10 years, she'd be chewed up by those old foxes until no bones were left. I guess Lin Tiancheng gave up on her long ago. Insider news. I heard Lin Tiancheng has an illegitimate son abroad. This wave of operations is clearly paving the way for the illegitimate son's return. Your perspectives are all too small. As I see it, Lin Tiancheng is beating his daughter into shape, and even more so to temper Zhao Qi. Don't you see how awesome Zhao Qi is now? This is the true mind trick of an emperor. I read with great relish. And conveniently gave a like to the last comment. There are still people who understand. Assistant Old Wang timely handed over a document. Chairman Lin, this is the detailed information you requested about Mr. Zhao Qi. I nodded and took it. The file wasn't thick, finishing in just a few pages, covering the first half of a person's 20-plus years of life. An orphan grew up in an orphanage from a young age, studied hard, relied on scholarships and work-study programs all the way to a prestigious university. After graduating, he joined Lin Group, starting from the bottom, outstanding abilities, but because of his straightforward personality and not knowing how to curry favor, he was given a lot of hard times. Later, he was chosen by my blind and foolish cheap dad. Thought a pie had fallen from the sky, but it turned out to be jumping into another fire pit. Attached at the end of the file were a few photos. One was a group photo of him as a child in the orphanage, wearing ill-fitting old clothes, skinny like a bean sprout. But his eyes were very bright. Looking stubbornly at the camera, another was from his university graduation, alone wearing a bachelor's gown, a photo taken at the school gate, smiling somewhat foolishly. I rubbed my chin looking at these photos. Good roots and proper background, hardworking and enduring. Looks are also okay. Most importantly, his brain works well, unlike my stupid daughter. He is a good seedling to be a tool man and a successor. It was another rainy night. Lightning flashed and thunder rolled. Wind and rain mixed together. I was just preparing to rest. Old Wang hurried in. Chairman Lin, Mr. Zhao, didn't go to the company for the whole day today. I frowned. What's wrong? Today's his birthday. It seems every year on his birthday, he would lock himself at home for a day. Old Wang paused and added heavily. He couldn't find any information about his parents. He only knows that it was on this day. He was abandoned at the orphanage door. I put down the document in my hand and stood up. Prepare the car. The apartment Zhao Qi lived in could be considered a gift from me. I opened the lock with my fingerprint. Walking in, the living room was pitch black, only in front of the floor-tizzling window. Borrowing the lightning from outside, I could see a figure curled up on the sofa. He hugged his knees, his whole body radiating a depressing aura. Wine bottles were scattered all over the floor. I walked over without turning on the light. Just from the wine cabinet next to him, I also took a bottle of whiskey, sat down beside him, and started drinking on my own. As if he didn't notice. He remained motionless. I didn't speak either. Just drinking with him like this, I don't know how long passed. In an extremely low and hoarse voice, as if speaking to himself, he said, "Tell me, why didn't they want me back then? Was it because there was something bad about me? I've grown up now. I can make money. Why are they still unwilling to come look for me?" I sighed inwardly. The lack of care in childhood can make someone extremely insecure. Growing up, it upgrades into self-pua until there's no sense of worthiness. That's why he fell into the scumbag woman's trap. Being belittled to worthlessness, I didn't say things like, "You are very good. It's them who lack taste," and other such bullshit. I just took a swig of liquor, lightly patted his shoulder. Why think about these useless things? Thinking of them, can they give you a project? Or can they help you sign a contract? With this time spent wallowing in self-pity, you'd be better off thinking more about how to take the company public. When it's time to ring the bell, let the whole world know how awesome you Zhao Qi are. By that time, it will be them crying and begging you to acknowledge your ancestors. Zhao Qi turned his head, looking at me in the dim light, his eyes complex. I handed the wine bottle in my hand over, clinked it against his, then stood up and yanked him up from the sofa. He stumbled a bit, looking at me in confusion. "Let's go." "Where to?" "The company?" I looked at him, my tone full of grievance. "Do you know that your absence from work for a day brings me how much loss? Hurry back and work overtime, and make up for the work you missed today." Zhao Qi's expression froze for a moment, and then became hard to describe. It was a complex emotion mixed with, "I knew it," just as expected, and, "What a truly evil capitalist." I walked to the entryway, my hand already on the door handle, as if suddenly remembering something. Without looking back, I opened my mouth. "Oh, right. Happy birthday." After that night, Zhao Qi seemed like a completely different person. He became busier and worked even harder. Under his leadership, Kiming Tech advanced triumphantly, becoming the brightest rising star in the industry. I followed the schedule, occasionally bundling up Lin Group's industries and tossing them to Zhao Qi to manage. My days became increasingly leisurely. Time flew by. In a blink of an eye, it was the end of the year. This day, I was leisurely pruning my precious roses at home. Old Wang walked over with a hurried look. Chairman Lin, something happened. I snipped off a blooming rose without looking up and said, "Speak, the young lady has been kidnapped." The scissors in my hand paused. Ju Yifan, are they not acting? As of now, it doesn't seem like an act. Old Wang's face was very solemn. The other party sent a message, demanding a 1 billion ransom. No calling the police, otherwise they'll tear up the ticket. I put down the scissors, looking at that delicate rose, lost in thought. It's finally reached this plot. According to the original book's progress, this event should wait another year. It seems my arrival advanced the plot this much. To be honest, I'm actually a little expectant. I took out my phone and dialed Zhao Qi's number. The other end was a bit noisy, like he was in a meeting. Chairman Lin Mengyao has been kidnapped by Ju Yifan, I said concisely. The other end of the phone instantly went quiet. A few seconds later, ZhaoKiz.com voice came over. Address. I sent the address to him and hung up the phone. Old Wang was a bit worried. Chairman Lin, are we just letting Mr. Zhao go alone? What if? Nonsense. At a time like this, of course we have to let the male lead show off first. Call the police. I interrupted him. Also, send all my men out. Surround that abandoned factory for me. Don't let a single fly escape. Yes, I looked out the window. The sky was gradually darkening. Inside the abandoned factory, the light was dim, filled with the smell of rust and dust. Lin Mengyao was tied to a chair, mouth taped. Trembling all over with fear, she looked at the man in front of her, who, due to gambling debts and bankruptcy, had bloodshot eyes and a ferocious face. Her eyes were full of terror. Yifan, look at me. Mengyao. Didn't you say you love me the most? Love you. Ha. Ji Yifan acted like he heard some massive joke. Lin Mengyao, why don't you look in the mirror and look at yourself? Besides that face and the Lin family background, what else do you have? Did you really think I loved an idiot like you? I just wanted to use you to climb the high branch of the Lin family. Who knew you were so useless? Not only getting kicked out by that old geezer, I'm telling you, if it wasn't for your old bastard of a dad refusing to give money, would I need to resort to this? He pinched her chin, his eyes malicious. All of this is you, father and daughter, and that trash Zhao Qi forcing me together. You lied to me. Lin Mengao's tears streamed down. Lied to you. He took out a phone, dialed my number, and turned on the speaker. Now let's see. If your good dad actually cares about you, Lin Tanchang is the money ready. 1 billion, not a cent less. Otherwise, just wait to collect your daughter's corpse. I can give you the money, but I need to confirm my daughter's safety first. Ji Yifan brought the phone to Lin Mengyao's mouth. Dad, save me. Hei's going to kill me. Heard that? Gu Yifan laughed triumphantly. Just then, the factory door banged loudly, kicked open from the outside. Zhao Qi stood alone at the door against the light. Let her go. Ji Yifan saw Zhao Qi, froze for a second, then laughed maniacally. Zhao Qi, your woman has been ruined by me, and you still come to save her. Ha, you're even more of a wimp than I thought. He pulled out a coldly gleaming dagger from behind him and pressed it against Lin Menyao's neck. Don't come closer or I'll kill her. Zhao Qi stopped his steps, looking at him coldly. Ji Yifan, all you want is money. Kidnapping is a felony. You'll spend the rest of your life in prison. Let her go. I can give you a sum of money to let you go abroad. Cut the crap with me. You think I'll still believe you? Since you delivered yourself to the door, today both of you will die. Saying that, the dagger in his hand really slashed fiercely towards Lin Menyao's neck. Lin Mengyao closed her eyes in fright and let out a desperate scream. Zhao Qi's pupils shrank. With no time to think much, he grabbed an abandoned tin bucket beside him and smashed it at Ji Yifan with all his might. Bang! The tin bucket hit Ji Yifan's shoulder, making the dagger in his hand deviate by an inch, barely slashing Lin Mengao's cheek, leaving a bloody scratch. Ji Yifan winced in pain. Thoroughly enraged, he picked up a steel pipe from the ground and smashed it crazily toward Zhao Qi's head. Zhao Qi dodged sideways, but couldn't avoid it completely. The steel pipe smashed ruthlessly onto his left arm. Making a muffled thud, he groaned softly, cold sweat instantly breaking out on his forehead. But he didn't back down. Enduring the severe pain, he charged forward, tightly hugging Jiu Yifan's waist, and tackled him to the ground. The two wrestled together. Almost simultaneously, the doors and windows around the factory were smashed open at once. Countless police officers swarmed in. Jiu Yifan was handcuffed, still shouting maniacally. When I rushed to the hospital, Zhao Qi's arm had already been put in a cast. Lin Mengyao was sitting by his hospital bed, her eyes red and swollen. That bloody scratch on her face looked somewhat shocking. Seeing me, she seemed to find her backbone, and immediately stood up. "Dad," I ignored her, walked straight to Zhao Qi. "How is it?" "A minor bone fracture." His face was still a bit pale, but his spirit looked okay. I nodded. I took a document from the assistant's hand and threw it in the face of Jiu Yifan's lawyer because the evidence of Jiu Yifan's kidnapping crime was conclusive. He was arrested on the spot, but the lawyer he hired actually had the nerve to run to the hospital, wanting us to issue a letter of forgiveness to help him reduce his sentence. These are all the evidence of Jiu Yifan's embezzlement, commercial fraud, and money laundering overseas. Tell him. Spend the rest of his life stepping on a sewing machine in prison. The lawyer doubtfully opened the file bag and only pulled out a few pages. The more he read, the more sweat broke out on his forehead, and his face became increasingly solemn. Finally, he closed the document, let out a long sigh, and bowed to me once again. "President Lin, apologies for the intrusion." He respectfully pushed the file bag back, then left without looking back, not even a single extra word of defense. Kidding me? Taking money to do a job is fine. Taking money to court death is not. After dealing with these miscellaneous matters, I finally turned my gaze to Lin Mengyao. She looked at me. Her lips moved, wanting to say something but not daring to. I knew what she wanted to say. Nothing more than the words, sorry and thank you. But pride kept her from speaking out. Looking at her like that, I sighed inwardly. All right, come home with me. Let Zhao Qi rest well. After that kidnapping incident, Lin Mengyao seemed like a completely different person. She stopped putting on makeup, stopped buying luxury goods, and stopped making a fuss about going out. Every day, she just stayed quietly at home, occasionally going to the hospital to deliver soup to Zhao Qi. Of course, Zhao Qi didn't drink it a single time. She started calling me like crazy, asking about Zhao Qi's preferences, asking about Kim Ming-tek's recent situation. She even came running to beg me, wanting me to unfreeze her cards, saying she wanted to buy a gift to apologize to Zhao Qi. Listening on the phone, I shook my head helplessly. This silly child, why can't she still figure it out? Lin Mengyao, do you think Zhao Qi, whose net worth is now tens of billions, still lacks those little things you buy? She was left speechless by my question, and tears fell down again. I looked at her, and just felt it was pathetic. If you had known today would come, why act like that in the beginning? Time flew by. In the blink of an eye, a year had passed. Jiu Yifan, due to multiple crimes punished concurrently, was sentenced to life imprisonment. Don't even think about getting out in this lifetime. And Zhao Qi's, Kim Ming-tek, had already become the absolute overlord in the domestic AI field, with a market value exceeding hundreds of billions. This day was the Lin Group's annual grand ceremony. And also, the day I prepared to announce my retirement, Lin Mengyao came too. She dressed very appropriately and sat quietly in the corner. Her gaze constantly followed that high-spirited man on the stage. I knew she was still holding on to the last trace of fantasy. She thought that as long as she could regain my approval and inherit the Lin Group, she would be qualified to stand by Zhao Qi's side again. I walked onto the stage and picked up the microphone. The lights of the whole venue focused on me. I first thanked all the guests, then got straight to the point. Today, I want to announce two things here. First, I, Lin Tiancheng, officially retire starting from today. The whole audience was in an uproar. I saw Lin Menyao's eyes instantly light up, and her body sat up straight. I smiled and continued speaking. Second, I paused, my gaze sweeping across the whole venue, and finally landed on Zhao Qi off the stage. I, Lin Tiancheng, have no son in this life, which has always been a regret, but now, I have one. I reached out my hand towards him. Starting from today, everything of the Lin Group will be fully taken over by my adopted son, Zhao Qi. The spotlight instantly hit Zhao Qi. He stood up with a blank look on his face, looked at me and then looked around. Probably doubting whether I read the wrong name, his expression was as silly as the landlord's second son, and in the corner, Lin Mengyao was like all the strength had been drained from her body. She slowly slumped back into the chair, feeling utterly crushed. After the ceremony ended, I was leisurely drinking tea backstage. Lin Mengyao walked in, exceeding my expectations. She didn't cry and didn't make a scene. She just quietly looked at me, although there were still bloodshot streaks in her eyes. They were exceptionally bright. Dad, she opened her mouth, her voice unreasonably calm. I understand. I raised an eyebrow, waiting for what she was going to say next. I understand what exactly it is that I threw away back then. You don't need to scold me. She took a deep breath, and a long low spark ignited in her eyes. The pride belonging to the Lin family. I will not beg you anymore, nor will I go look for Zhao Qi again. Starting from today, I will leave here, relying on myself. One day, I will stand in front of you guys again, not as Lin Tiancheng's daughter, nor as Zhao Qi's, but as myself, Lin Menggao. I looked at her, stunned for a few seconds, and then was amused. All right. I took a black card out of my pocket and handed it over. Take it. Dad sponsors you. She shook her head and refused. My money, really no need, I asked cheekily. Starting a business outside is very hard, you know? You'll starve to death without money. She was amused by my annoyance, rolling her eyes at me for the first time. No need. Watching her straight-backed figure as she turned and left, I smiled in gratification. This stupid daughter of mine seems to have finally grown up just a little bit. Later, Lin Menggao really relied on herself and carved out a piece of the sky in the fashion circle. I also finally lived the life I dreamed of. Retirement life. Every day was nothing but fishing and scrolling through videos. This day, I was on my private island, happily enjoying a piece of Wagyu beef for dinner. A video call popped up. It was Zhao Qi. In the video frame, he looked at the distinctly marbled Wagyu beef in front of me and furrowed his brows tightly. Dad, you're sneaking food again? The doctor said your cholesterol is a bit high. You can't eat such greasy food. Also, scroll less through videos every day. It's bad for your eyes. The knife in my hand paused, my eyes full of disbelief. Yesterday, I wanted to go play golf, and you had old Wong take away all my clubs, saying you were afraid I'd hurt my back. Now you even want to control me eating a piece of meat and watching videos? I am here on vacation, not to serve time in prison. Dad, health is the capital of revolution. If you collapse, who am I going to find to clean up the messes for me? You punk, your guts have gotten fat now. Learn to use my own words to choke me. No choice. Who told me to end up with such a worrisome capitalist like you? The assistant handed over a letter. It was sent by Lin Mengyao from Milan Fashion Week. Inside the letter was a photo of her backstage at the show, confident and calm. On the back were a few lines written, Dad, don't worry. Also, Zhao Qi's new suit was made by me. I smiled, set the letter aside, looking at the boy in the video, who was managing me with a straight face. The sunlight is just right. The breeze is not harsh. So good. Everyone has a bright future.